Welcome back, everyone. We are certainly looking forward to heading back to the pool next week to get in the water and start our swim practices. The rink and pool isn't quite open to the public yet, but will be opening to us this next week. When you head down to the pool for our first practice, we're going to ask all swimmers to be dropped off on Buckley Street. All you need to do is head up Buckley Street towards the softball fields. And up at the top of the street, we're going to ask you to turn around and use the loading and unloading zone to drop off your swimmers. If you plan on staying at the facility during practice, waiting in your car or going for a walk, you're welcome to park on Talbot Street or on Buckley Street, but just don't park anywhere where you see one of these signs. You'll get a ticket. We are going to use Marina Vista for all swimmers who can drive and coaches. That way, right after their practice, they can exit with the rest of the group and head to their car. There will be plenty of parking there for our coaches and swimmers, even though some of the neighbors use that as their own personal parking spot. So just as a reminder, if you're a 15-18 who drives to practice, you can park in that pink shaded area. For the rest of our swimmers, you'll be dropped off on Buckley Street and get in a line right by the coach's office. Please arrive to the pool 4 to 5 minutes before your practice. Get in line. The coaches are going to meet the swimmers out here in the lines, and the coaches are going to be walking the swimmers in directly to their lanes on the pool deck. Look for the signs on the gate. If you're in group 3, 5, 7, 9, or 11, you're going to be finding little circles on the ground to line up. If you're in group 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12, you're going to be looking for little stars on the ground to find a spot to line up. All of our markings are 6 feet apart to follow proper social distancing protocols. Yeah, I know, you're going to need to wear a mask. I know masks are very divisive issues right now. And people have all sorts of different opinions. And that is especially prevalent in the swimming world. Because there's a lot unknown about the masks. For instance, nobody knows exactly what a mask tan is going to look like. And how is that going to coordinate with all your other swimming tans, like your cap tan and your goggle tan and your suit strap tan and your Speedo tan and your flip-flop tan? Coaches will be checking in the swimmers outside the gates when they're in their socially distanced lines and walking them into the pool area where they will instruct them where to go and wait for practice to start. After the coach takes the group in, the pool's going to be locked. There's a lot of people that walk up and down the street. They keep popping in and asking if the pool's open yet. And we need to keep the pool area fairly cleared. So once the swimmers walk through the gates, those gates are going to be locked. For swimmers trying to figure out where to go, the lanes are labeled with the starting blocks at one end and 8 cones at the other end. Each number corresponds to a swimming lane. When you arrive at your lane, you will set all of your swimming equipment down by your lane and then take your bag and move that a little bit away from the pool so that it doesn't get wet. If there are 2 of you sharing a lane, please take your equipment and use the full lane, spreading out your personal items. If you are a swimmer who wears a swim cap, please be aware that you are going to need to either wear that cap to practice or be able to put it on yourself. Now that we're finally ready to swim, let's go over a couple things. If you're starting by the cones, you got to jump in the water feet first to start swimming. If you're at the other end, you can go ahead and dive in and spread yourselves out when you dive in. If you are at an end of the pool by yourself, when you finish your laps, we're going to ask you to finish right to the middle of the lane and stay there. If you are at the end of the pool where there's two of you, once you finish your lap, scoot over to the left, and then when the second swimmer comes in, he's going to stay over to the right. If you're swimming in the lap pool, we are going to be having swimmers starting at each end. So it's going to be important, just like in a normal year, that we practice good circle swimming. We know that circle swimming doesn't always work out just right. So if something goes wrong, just fix your position in your lane and keep on going. For the families with younger swimmers who are using the splash pool, a parent or a sibling can walk that swimmer right through the gates, past any lines that are there, and walk them directly to the splash pool to meet the coach. At the splash pool, each swimmer is going to be assigned a number 1 to 6, and there are cones numbered from 1 to 6 on each edge of the pool. Just like our other swimmers, the swimmers in the splash pool will bring their equipment in and set it down right by a cone. They're then going to take their towel and bag and put it a little ways away from the pool so it doesn't get wet. They are going to line up right by their cone, but it's really important that you don't get in until you're instructed to get in by your swim coach. Once you get in the water, it's really important to stay right by your cone until you're instructed by your swim coach. It can be kind of hard to swim straight in the splash pool without any lines at the bottom, but if you start at cone number 1, the goal is to swim to cone number 1 on the other side. We know that things don't always work out perfectly though, and sometimes we start in one spot and then we end in another. If you end up at the wrong number and you're like, uh-oh, what did I just do? That's okay. Just find your correct number, swim on over, and keep your head up so you're ready to listen to your coach. After your swimmers head in the gates for swim practice, those gates will be locking behind them. We have to keep the flow of traffic pretty minimal in the pool area this year. So if something comes up during practice, an emergency, or you have to get your child out of the water for an appointment early, we can accommodate that. We do have one coach on deck who is acting as our COVID monitor. That's a requirement this year. We have to have one coach who is a lifeguard, but they're not actively coaching, monitoring bathroom use and social distancing. And if you get their attention from outside the gates, they can help you out. One area that the COVID monitor has to keep track of is the restrooms. They are only allowed to let one swimmer in at a time, and when you go into the restroom, you need to find where it says public only restroom. The rest of them are going to be locked. There might be another restroom labeled staff only restroom, but remember, public only. But let's say you need to go and somebody's already in there. Well, you may end up having to wait a little while till the person ahead of you gets out, and then it will make things much more simple if you use the restroom before you leave home every day. If you're in the habit of using the showers at Rankin, well, this may not be the year for you because they're going to be closed. At the end of practice, with just 1 or 2 minutes left, we're going to have the swimmers hop out, grab their towels, and pack up all of their gear. They're going to then head over to the side of the pool that is on Marina Vista. You've probably noticed that we're having the swimmers keep their backpacks on the pool deck instead of on all the tables. That way we don't have to clean all the tables off at the end of every practice. When the swimmers are done with practice, they will be heading out the Marina Vista side of the pool gate with all of their equipment and gear. The coach is going to walk them down the street to Talbert, where you can easily pick them up from your parking spot. We are going to try to avoid having cars hold up the traffic, so we are going to ask your swimmers to load in the cars really quickly so we don't get a lot of complaints from the neighborhood. Just to clarify the pickup times, if on the schedule your swimmer's practice ends at, say, 9:55, we plan on the swimmers walking out the gate at that time and heading down here to Talbot Street to be picked up. And while your swimmers are getting picked up down here on Talbot at 8:55 or 9:55, another group of swimmers is going to be walking in the gates on the other side of the pool. When the swimmers are done from their splash pool practice, they too will be picking up their towel and getting wrapped up. They're also going to be picked up over by Marina Vista exit. The coach will walk them over to the gates over there, and with those guys, you are welcome to come right up to the gate over there, and we will drop off your swimmer to you. Thank you so much for watching. This is new to all of us. I'm sure some things are going to come up in the next couple weeks that we have to adapt to. We appreciate your continued flexibility. And remember, we're always watching you. Looking forward to seeing you next week at the pool. Can't wait to get back at it. It feels like it's been a long time coming, so we're really excited to be coaching.